Good morning, everyone. We should be starting shortly. Just give others a few minutes to join. We should start in 5 minutes, kind. To those who have already joined, many thanks. We should be starting in a few. We're just fixing something internally, then we'll be good to go.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the camera on.
Good morning once again. Many thanks to those ones who have already joined us in this webinar. My name is Eric Oyer. I'm in the marketing department at Amutech Africa. Before I hand over to the speakers of the day, I just want to share that this webinar will take 1 hour, but because of the delay, maybe we can extend it to another maybe 10 minutes. But apart from that, I just want to share that the webinar is recorded and we'll share the recording plus the presentation between today and tomorrow. Without further ado, I'll now introduce Darius, who is our key account manager. Darius will give a brief introduction about Amutech, and Darius is just part of the people who will present in this webinar together with our OEM. So Darius, can you take over?
Yes, good morning. Good morning again. And welcome to our webinar. Thank you so much for finding time to show up to the webinar. We look forward to learning a bit today on what we shared. So I want to introduce Amutech Africa on slightly on what we offer at Amutech Africa. Amutech Africa is a service provider of premium test and measurement solutions. We are in 6 countries where the headquarters are based in Nairobi. We have an office in Tanzania. We have another office in DRC Congo. We have another office in Rwanda, Uganda, and Ethiopia as well. Amutech Africa is structured to execute collective end-to-end project solutions. Part of what we offer as Enemac Africa is training, projects and services. We do projects and services. We do product sales of the premium brands that some of you have interacted with, and also we do repair and calibration. These are the vertical markets that as Enemac Africa we serve: healthcare and pharmaceutical, the automotive industry, foods and beverages. We serve the mining industry, the utilities, renewable energy, education and research, oil and gas, telecommunications, manufacturing, aviation, and military. So, as I said, we do repair and calibration. Our lab is certified, ISO certified 17025, 2017, accredited to ensure highest standards are met and traceability assured. So, our lab, it covers this scope, as you have seen, the electrical, pressure, temperature, and torque calibration. These are some of the services we offer from the project team, the testing and commissioning. We do operation and maintenance. We do the servicing, calibration, and maintenance of the assets. We do thermography and condition monitoring, which is today centered in a part of the condition monitoring, today's presentation. We do safety audit and gas detection, partial discharge testing. We'll also mention part of partial discharge today in our presentation. We do cable fault location, power quality measurement, vibration analysis and shaft alignment, battery testing, and we also do primary equipment, factory acceptance tests. So this is generally what Acoustic offers, but as we be having more discussions, probably interactions also outside this presentation, we'll be sharing more and into details on what we offer as Acoustic Africa. So I let my colleague do the introduction, and also I can do an overview of today's presentation and our focus for today's webinar.
Okay, so good day, everybody, or should I say good day, Central Africa. Thank you to the Amutech team for arranging this webinar. And yes, my name is Adi Rambarosa, and I am the area manager for FLA in Sub-Saharan Africa. And Darius, I think today the point of focus is actually our acoustic imaging.
Yeah, that's correct.
So would you like to take us through some of the benefits of acoustic imaging and this next generation imager?
Yes, probably I'll do a bit of overview on what we'll be doing the presentation. I'll cover a bit of it so that also you can do part of it.
Thank you for that opportunity.
So we'll take you through the next gen FLA acoustic imagers. This is what I'll do. I'll present a bit of it so that our partner also can do the rest of it. So, how does acoustic imaging work? I'll do the introduction of the SI2 series, which FLA has launched, and then we can take over from the applications of the SI2 acoustic camera. So what's the ultrasound? This is the ultrasonic range diagram of where the focus of ultrasound will focus, the acoustic and ultrasonics. So why acoustic imaging? This is a predictive maintenance curve. Sound is one of the first indications of an electrical problem, a pressurized leak, or a mechanical fault. And acoustic imaging detects issues inaudible to the human ear based on the sounds that they emit. It provides a fast, accurate, and contact-free solution for identifying and addressing issues before they become critical. So using acoustic imaging for predictive maintenance saves time, money, ensures operational continuity, and prevents safety risks. So if you look at the predictive maintenance cover from that slide, you realize that the first thing that you should discover before the fault occurs is sound. I think that's why today's presentation is based on acoustic imaging, so that you can discover the fault as early as possible before the fault starts to occur. I think that's correct, right?
That is correct. So now I've got a question. That is, my wife is pretty loud. Does that mean she's a problem or a fault?
She might not be the problem at the moment, but since she doesn't project in the ultrasonic, right?
Yeah, sometimes the screeches can go up to the ultrasonic space. So yeah, please continue.
That might be a problem, but so why acoustic imaging again? It addresses quite a multiple markets and the customer needs. So we'll mention part of it will be the electrical faults, which is a major one. We'll cover a bit of partial discharge testing, the corona, and also in mechanical applications, we'll do the rotating equipment, and now you can do your inspection, discover a fault in rotating equipment, belts, bearings, and conveyors. And also lastly, gas leaks, the compressed air, which is a major in manufacturing and processing industry, steam systems, and natural gas. I think that's the major, but the markets that acoustic imaging will be because we take the best of. So we are introducing today the FLA SI2 series, which is the most efficient and in the market at the moment. So it comes three models. The SI2 PD, which has an improved partial discharge detection and analysis. It is intended for an electrical generation and transmission. So that's specifically designed for partial discharge. And we have the SI2 LD, which does mechanical fault issues. It has an expanded and an improved leak detection. And also it's intended for manufacturing industries, automotive industries, and other industries that we mentioned as we go through this detection. And now we have the SI2 Pro, which combines the features from the SI2 PD and the SI2 lead. So it's more of a master key. It combines the two PD and the LD SI2 acoustic images. So what sets the SI2 series apart? One, it comes with improved features, which are, it comes with a gas leak quantification. So that means this unit will quantify the leak that you discover at each and every point so that you can know how much you're using. It comes with a mechanical model to help you discover the mechanical faults as we'll mention as we go by. It has an improved detection performance and improved partial discharge identification. And a bit of the features are it comes with an HD color screen, a 12 megapixel color camera. It has an 8 times zoom, LED lamp, longer battery life. It does up to 130 kilohertz frequency, auto distance, auto filter, advanced AI features. It has a quick reader. It has a text annotation. It has an ergonomic neck snap strap. It has a freestanding design, as you can see from our table. And improved acoustic array. I think from there, my colleague will take over so that he can take you through the applications.
Okay, thank you, Darius. That was quite a lot of information. So guys, Darius has mentioned it's one of the most sensitive units available on the market today. Just before I go very much further, if you've got any questions, please keep them ready. Our marketing gentleman, Eric, is going to open a Q&A session. You're most welcome to type out your questions and we can answer them there. If we do not get to every question, because I would imagine there's quite a few, we will answer the questions offline and we will send individual emails or messages. All right. So according to what we see, this unit is actually the market leading in air detection. And it's quite simple in how it works. It's basically got a mic array that picks up the most sensitive, smallest leaks, the most sensitive sounds. Now, if we start to look at some of the features or the broadest feature, it is definitely the fact that it's got a very wide range. So it starts from 2 kilohertz and goes all the way up to 130 kilohertz. All right. It's got an LED lamp that allows you to look at spaces in the darkness, brightens your pictures, sometimes brightens your days. And the fact that it's auto distancing and auto filtering, it actually selects the opportune filter for you. So you can detect leaks a lot faster. All right. Lots of times in your manufacturing spaces, people don't understand the hidden costs with regards to using compressed air. Now, if you look at some of the stats that's on the screen at the moment, you come to realize that most manufacturing plants typically lose about 25 to 30% of their actual energy consumption due to compressed air. Now, if you want to put some numbers into that, if you're spending, if I use the dollars, if you're spending $100,000 on your energy bill, it's telling you that $25,000 is actually lost, right? So how are you actually performing leak audits? Are you actually checking the leaks? Are you seeing that you've covered all the bases? Have you got an instrument that is sensitive enough to be able to pick up those small leaks? We're going to talk a bit more about that now. All right. But before we go too much into leaks, we need to understand a little bit about the science of it. If you look at the screen, you've basically got, if you look at our little laminar flow here, and we've got a little breach or an orifice coming out there, you start to see that that air leak creates a turbulence, all right? And it's in the form of ultrasonic noise, all right? Ultrasonic obviously being beyond our normal hearing capability, so we would not be able to hear it through our own ears. But using an instrument like this, we can obviously pick it up. And based on that, we pick up this little vortex that comes out on the outside. And that's how we visually start to look at it, right? If we look at a typical plant that's got compressed air, you basically have got a compressor as your start or your starting point, and you've got quick release or point and use devices, quick coupling valves at the end. But in between that, there's actually quite a bit, isn't there? So you've got tubings, you've got quick joints, you've got valves, you've got flanges. There's quite a few points. And these are all possible failure points, all right? Using the SI2 camera, you can actually pick up if you've got any leaks of the smallest scale on those points, right? If we start to look at examples, in your manufacturing industries and things like that, again, we've discussed a little bit about it. But what about your pharmaceutical spaces where contamination is really a problem? All right, you don't want too much of air leaks. You don't want too much of contamination on your product. Your pharmaceuticals generally use a fair bit of vacuum as well. So you want to make sure that the environment is as sterile as possible and there's not too much of leaks coming onto your product or contaminating your product. Okay. I think one of the biggest industries using compressed air is obviously the automotive industry, where they've got compressed air lines absolutely everywhere. And they use pneumatic tools, they use compressed air as part of their movement systems, they've got many actuators. And if you start to look at using these products to bring down the costs, upon finding leaks, it helps to bring down the cost of your finished good. It also helps to save on your compressor. There have been sites that we've been on where the guys are using 2 compressors instead of 1 because they cannot find the leaks or the wastages. All right. So we start to look at that. The automotive industry also uses a lot of welding gases, all right, like CO2 and argon-based gases. All right. We're able to pick up, detect those leaks and quantify them. Okay, this photograph here that you're looking in the background is my colleague in the UK, and he was able to pick up a 5-digit saving in under 10 minutes. Okay, I mean that's a significant amount of saving, especially on welding gases. So overall, if we start to look at it, if we're saving on your compressed air and if we're saving on your gases, your return of investment on a large facility becomes a lot better, right? It brings your costing down. saving your leaks, it's making you more productive, and it's also helping to bring the cost of your manufacturing down and save your compressors. Right? Again, these are some examples of where compressed air is used. Beside compressed air, in some of your food and beverage plants, they use CO2 gases. Those losses go completely undetected for years. All right. So we're helping to make you more efficient in your manufacturing space. And again, other than your welding gases, there's a multitude of natural gases like methane, ammonia, helium that can be detected and quantified. Okay, so we are able to maximize on your return of investment. I'm going to hand it over to Darius again. He's going to talk a little bit about partial discharge, I believe. That's quite a short story.
But before that, somebody could ask about if this unit can do LPG, especially for the big hotels that use LPG so much in cooking, big restaurants, and the companies that do repackaging of the LPG gas.
So if I had to answer the question for you, Darius, any compressed air or gas can be detected. Okay, there are some limitations, and that's why I use the phrase compressed. It must be under some form of pressure. And if it's able to create that vortex that I showed you, then yes, most definitely it will detect. There are some gases that are used but are not necessarily listed. But I think the idea of just being able to detect it is a huge saving point for the customer and being able to repair those leaks that they find.
Any safety measure that you'll have to take, especially now when you're inspecting the LPG plant, for example?
Stand as far away as you possibly can. So I think this being as sensitive as it is, yeah, you want to stand as far away as you possibly can.
Yeah. Thank you for that. We can look at the partial discharge. Up to 85% of the electrical failures are related to partial discharge, making early stage partial discharge detection very important in preventing the critical failures. So using this FLAR acoustic camera, which is an international electric utility company, part of the case studies that our colleagues from FLAR have done. They were able to detect the partial discharges in power lines, substation, cable terminations, and 20 kV NIL disconnectors. So the acoustic image also picked up a partial discharge on a bushing that the analytics software classified as very high severity. A week later, the bushing broke down completely as recommended. So that means this unit can classify the severity of that partial discharge.
That is actually correct. That is very correct. So it's quite using AI technology to actually classify based on the PRPP pattern. But I think you're going to take us into more detail with that.
Due to sensitivity and the improved features of this unit, it can identify 50% more critical partial discharge issues. It will help you to avoid missing a lot of critical issues when you're doing the partial discharge inspection. It has an on-site, on-camera PT severity assessment. So once you're doing your inspection, you can see how severe that partial discharge is from the unit. It also helps you to remove guesswork from the analysis critical high voltage components. It also has a very increased detection distance that you can detect a partial discharge from as far as 200 meters. Something that we have seen a couple of times in the inspection.
Definitely have.
So what are the classification of partial discharge? One, we have the corona, which is the ionization of the fluid or air in the surrounding. The guys in the utilities they don't have seen this. And we have tracking, the surface tracking. And the last one is arcing, the electrical breakdown, at that moment. Now, these are some kind of but the areas that you can discover the partial discharge during the inspection. These are the images and areas that you can discover the partial discharge during the inspection. So the partial discharge process here. Here now, this unit, it combines an advanced signal processing with AI to automatically detect and recognize the partial discharge. That's one of the most special feature I think about this unit, the AI. Now that it's combined with the AI to do the analysis.
So it's a clever unit.
It's a very clever unit. Again, that's why we have technology. Technology is here to supplement our knowledge and our day-to-day activities. Something that has so much been factored in the new unit that we are presenting today. This unit you can do with the unit you can do on-site assessment, or with the unit you can get back and your office you can do the analysis while at the office. So it still can give you two how can you mention is it two choices of options that you can do the analysis on site?
So effectively, if you start to actually look at the slide that's on the screen, Dennis, it's it basically allows for you to take the guesswork out. So while you're on site, you picked up the actual partial discharge. The unit uses this PRP pattern to basically classify it. So is it corona, is it acute, or is it tracking? Over and above that, I mean, a lot of times your open air corona, your open air partial discharge is harmless, but effectively it gives you some form of recommendation of what actions should be taken. Like if you look at the little explanation or recommendation on the screen, it says typically there's no action required unless there is actual partial loss, power loss, I beg your pardon. However, from a severity perspective, if it starts to look at things like tracking and arcing, and if it classifies it, all right, it's going to pick up that severity level and it's going to tell you that, listen, this is now a high potential problem. Please, can you have a look at it, and it will give you some form of recommendation. Does that answer your question?
That answers the question. That means that now the unit with its advanced AI addition, it helps to classify the kind of partial discharge.
It definitely does. It definitely helps with the classification process.
That's okay. Again, most of the questions that people ask is about can the thermal imaging camera discover what the acoustic imaging does? No, it can't. They actually supplement each other.
That is absolutely correct. They definitely supplement each other's work. There are, however, some overlaps in terms of detection, but it also depends on what type of partial discharge you have and whether it's going to heat up the component or not. But that is why Phil actually went into the acoustic space. It's because it's complementary products for the same sort of condition monitoring based target market or target audience that we've got. Right. Guys, I'm going to take you through some of the mechanical fault detections. Okay. Now, if we look at, or if we remember that preventative maintenance curve, generally on your bearing failures, you get a spike, an ultrasonic spike in sound. Okay. And it's not quite audible. All right. The advantage of this unit is it makes it visual. So you can actually see the noise, right? And if we start to look at some bearing failure and some bearing components, when that ultrasonic spike happens, there are other technologies that can be used that can be quite tedious. This is one of the most easiest to use devices to detect this. And if you look at your mech mode on this or your mechanical mode, it gives you some crest and kurtosis factors, which can become quite important when detecting bearing failure and bearing faults. All right. But I think the point that you can visualize it first actually becomes rather important. Okay. So we look at different types of conveyor systems. You obviously want to have a line of sight open bearing that you can actually visualize. And again, being able to monitor this crest factor or this kurtosis factor or the actual decibel value of your bearing definitely helps in finding a potential faulty bearing and discovering that there are simple things that can be done to either solve the problem or the fact that you can investigate based on the values that are given. Okay. So if you're looking at the different types of bearings that it can actually work, we're looking at conveyor bearings, transporter conveyor bearings, your fans, your pumps, your compressors, any open air bearings. There's times that you can pick up gearbox faults, pulley faults, and I think your imagination is very limited. Okay, so long as you can visually see with your eyes, we're able to detect the fault or the problem. Okay, and here's some simple examples just to have a look at where the SI2 was, obviously very well used to detect faults and to help with making any plant more profitable and in a better working condition. Okay.
I think somebody asked that, that's a potential question. Can you inspect a bearing that's not on the line of sight?
So in actuality, it's a bit difficult to do that because sound obviously travels and it bounces. So you want to make sure that you can see it, just for ease of use. There are some limitations with multiple technologies when it comes to closed bearings, unfortunately, and the SI2 is no stranger to that, all right? However, if used properly, it's definitely going to help you in solving and picking up these faults and picking up these problems a lot faster than any other technology is. Okay. So before I go through the next slide, I'm actually going to show you guys the unit. Darius mentioned the new ergonomic design. It's got a lot of ease of use on the hand. It's a single-handed operation unit. I think from a safety perspective, if you're walking through a plant, you want to be able to hold onto a handrail should you need to. It's quite light for what it can do. So it's no lightweight, but it is quite light in terms of weight. It's got its own onboard storage facility, so it stores all of your images on board. You've got your torches or your lights should you be working in a dark environment. And obviously this being the working surface of where all the magic happens, where it absorbs all of the sound and it converts it into the picture that you see. Okay. Now, if we look at the actual slide that's on the screen, we've got a ROI calculator on the website. You're most welcome to have a look at that or scan that QR code, or you can go on to Flood and search for the SI2 units. It's got all of the information on there, and you will find that ROI calculator. And you'll be quite amazed at how soon you can actually pay off something in this type of investment on your plant. Okay, I think now it comes to the point where we stop talking and you start asking questions. So if you've got any questions, our colleague Eric will call them out and we will answer them in accordance. Eric, up to you.
So, Adil, so far, we don't have any question. Maybe you can just give them a few minutes.
I can ask you before maybe probably one of us ask you. What are some of the parameters that this is a potential question that we can receive from anyone? What are some of the parameters that we can enter so that we can calculate our ROI for the unit?
So some of the characteristics in terms of ROI is, the size of the plant that you're on, how often or how big your compressors are, how often are your compressors running? I think we were both at a plant this week where we had assumed that they were running 24/7, but they're not a 24/7 operation, but they are a 100% operation. So the moment the factory opens, that compressor switches on. The moment it closes, it switches off. So you start to realize that compressed air is just as important as electricity when it comes to a plant. And if you look at the costing, or if you look at a report of the SI2, it actually gives you a cost of what that leak is going to cost you over a period of time. And in terms of the information that you need to load on there, it's basically the same that you would on your ROI calculator. The cost of your energy, the size of your compressor, how often is your compressor being used, okay? And yeah, basically other simple characteristics or simple inputs like your distance away from where you're actually working. And yeah, it throws out all of that information for you. So it's one of the most easiest things to fill out, both the ROI calculator and for the quantification on the actual unit.
And the audience, sorry. And to the audience, if you're finding it hard to share your question, please drop it in the chat or the Q&A section. Alternatively, you can just raise your hand. We'll hand over the mic to you.
So I think I made the statement the other day as well. It's either we present really well, that's why we've got no questions, or yeah, the crowd is unsure as to what to ask. Just by the way, in terms of availability of the product, it's readily available. So contact the Amutech team or ourselves, and we can assist you with either a demonstration or any questions that you may have.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a question. You also share your compliment, your concern, comment. We'll always pick it up because it's feedback at the end of the day. So feel free. We still have time. We have around 16 minutes to go. Maybe.
So Darius, tell me, you've obviously used this instrument for a while now. What's your thoughts on using it?
For anyone that is running a manufacturing plant, running a utility, this is a must-have unit. This is a must-have unit. The ROI for this unit is should be less than a year from some of the calculations that we have done, the inspections that we have done, the interaction we have had with customers in site. And like most of the people that we have shown how this unit works, the quantification, and how easy and how fast it discovers the leaks. Something that once you've interacted with, you'll get excited. You'll want to have the unit so that you can save on power. You can save on almost everything. Everybody running a business wants to make a profit anyway.
I agree. I think a lot of the guys that we had done demonstrations for were quite impressed on the ease of use of this type of device, or of this unit specifically. There was a plant we barely even left the office door and we picked up a leak, very small leak, but it's a leak now, nevertheless. So yeah. So I think the guys may be having either issues with questions or we're good. I think we can look at closing off. If you have any questions or anything of the sort, please feel free to contact either myself or Darius. And yeah, we will answer your questions as timely as possible and help to get the unit in your hand as quick as possible. Darius, thank you very much for this day. It was a brilliant event. Thank you again to Team Amutech, Eric and company. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in Kenya again very soon. Thank you.
And about physical interactions with the site customers.
I definitely.
Thank you, Adil, for that. Also, thanks to both of you for such a wonderful presentation. I just want to share that you can always follow us on LinkedIn because we always share updates there. A good example is this webinar. This is just one of the episodes we've had as far as thermal imaging is concerned. We are planning to have others as well, so keep checking our LinkedIn for further updates. I just want to say once again, thanks for setting time out of your busy schedules to join us for this webinar. We never take it for granted, and as I mentioned earlier, we'll share the recording with you, plus the presentation in PDF, either today or tomorrow. Yes, so having said that, I think we've come to the end of the webinar, and you can leave at your pleasure. Many thanks. Bye.